I'm doing a review of SoundHound. This is a trade. This is something that I was watching and actually traded it on a daily chart. I got in here and then I got stopped out and gave up on it. And started focusing on other tickers. But you can see why. Well, first you want to keep things on your watch list. Don't lose focus. But on this day here, this date had a lot of news, right? So this is where they came out, price target SoundHound for price target raises. They had a downgrade there. But this was the key thing. SoundHound AI Q3 gap, non-gap loss narrows, revenue rises. Okay, so that's some good news there. But you can see it takes some time to get these things to get going. So it's up and down, up and down. And then once it breaks out above that high here, that was the key point right there, 1025, then it really gets going. So if you're going to be buying in this area, first you either got to give a wider stop or you have to stop out and be ready to buy it back, which is what I should have done there. But you can see on the weekly chart, I had this nice squeeze, right? We're just getting nice and tight, starting to curl up. So right there, you could buy it. Maybe you have a stop at that weekly low. It almost seems like it's destined to, see, it took out this level, to take out this all-time high. So it has a lot of short interest here. It does have a bigger float, but just with the news and how hot the market is, in a little bit of a short squeeze market, this thing can keep going. Now I was trading it on the short side. Actually shorted it pre-market here. I shorted it here. But really, I want to get away from doing those day type trades and try to catch some of these, these bigger moves. This made a 145% move in 5 weeks. Right. So that was one. Tesla was another one. You can look at the monthly chart and see, okay, this is where the selling stopped. It's been nothing but green on the monthly. Then you get this big squeeze here, and then we look at the daily, right? And you can see it right back in here, starting to curl up. There, it has a nice run. So this is what you're looking for: volume, green volume, pull back, not much selling. Here you had selling, so that's indication that the run might be over. Then you get a big gap up here. So this is what you look for: volume, huge move, and a pullback. Then right there you can be buying right there. You can buy it at a moving average or an anchor VWAP. Right, so you had support there. So you came down to test this buying here, got really tight, and then it held above here, well above here. Right, so it's just being able to get in and trust and hold. So you got it in here, and then taking some profit. Maybe put your stop loss, trail it, give it some room. Right, but even here had another breakout. Now this also seems destined to take out the all-time highs. But looking at multiple time frames and seeing the big green volume, it's just like that's the key setup there. You can look at SMCI after hours on a 1 minute chart. It doesn't matter the time frame; it's all fractal. Right. So this had news. They were. It was something to do with the NASDAQ saying that they could. It was like right here. Basically, news came out. Big news. They're not going to get delisted. Right. So this is what you want to see. It doesn't matter if this is the monthly, yearly, daily. You see tight action, but big green volume, right? And then it pulls back, and then this is here. Right here is your buy, right there. So it's tight. You have the volume. You have an initial reaction. You can put an anchor VWAP there. See, it held the support, and then it also breaks above that anchor VWAP. So whether it's the AVWAP, a simple trend line, there are multiple ways to get into this. You could put a line at the high, then it breaks out here, right, and then it really gets going. Okay, so here's some initial profit taking, but then look at how tight it is right there, and you can put an AVWAP right there as well. Right, so it's holding. Like once it pulls back like that, it holds the whether it's, I'm using the 9 exponential, a 10, whatever. It's simple, it doesn't matter. But the key thing is you're holding above this anchor VWAP here. I mean, this right here is like a golden setup. You could start a small position here and then add. Boom, right there. Like that is telling you it's going higher. And now we're just looking for signs of a reversal. So we're starting to see some selling there, and now we're breaking the moving average. So that's pretty much the trend is over. So the key things of a long setup are big volume, big spike, then a nice little pullback, tight action, breakout. If you're buying here, you want to give it a little room. You can put your stop down here. If you put your stop at the low of this bar here, you may get stopped out with that initial reaction because it's like winding up, it's coiling, it's building the strength for a solid sustained upward trend, sloping at something like a 45. Usually it'll start off kind of slow and choppy, like we saw with sound, like something like that. And then it might have a spike up and pull back like that, and then chop around, kind of sideways-ish, and then really get going and start to go at this 45-degree angle, and then up to almost like an 80-degree angle, like that, start to go parabolic. And that, in this area, is where I would look to short sell something if it's at a key resistance, if it has a lot of overhead supply, high dilution, and it's hitting like anchor VWAP or a key level, or maybe it does a liquidity grab. So I have that. You can mark it with the monthly levels in TC2000. I also use TradingView, which shows higher time frame or what they call it, liquidity levels. Depends what you're trading. If you're trading something that's breaking out to all-time highs, it's not going to have that, right? So you're looking at a combination of if you're shorting something like small caps, high dilutive stocks, and you got to use something like Dilution Tracker. That's what you would look for is, okay, parabolic move has the ability, high dilution, it has low dilution ability. You really want to short that. But that's the move. Initial spike up, big volume, like really big volume like this, green, very obvious. And then it kind of chops around, forms a base, cup and handle. So usually like the first one is like a cup, then it'll come up, break out. Usually the second base is usually like a flat flag, high type. This is a high type flag, whether it's a weekly chart. This is a 1 minute chart, but if it's a weekly, daily, it doesn't matter. It's a high type flag, pennant. Then it breaks out, and here's where it starts to go parabolic. Actually, this one, it doesn't really get like that super parabolic move. But that's what I look for longs and shorts. You really don't want to be trading. I mean, if you're going to do range bound trading, when something is like, and this was after hours action, but if it's something like kind of back and forth and choppy, you could do the range bound trading, but you're trading a lot against algos, and the problem with that is you're going to have more slippage. It's just going to be more challenging. I mean, there are people that do the range bound trading and they make that work, but that's essentially what I look for Nice little, you can see it. And the more indicators you have, it just creates more distractions. That's why I like to keep my charts as simple as possible. And just look for the pattern. So where something where it's very obvious, you know, let's take off the, have this all marked up. You shouldn't need a lot of indicators. It's kind of a trap. All right, so here you get it. Big volume. Okay, now we're done. This move's done. Comes back into support. You have a trend line here. You also can do something like the anchor VWAP. So now it's really getting to go again. It's volatile, selling. Okay, now buyers are coming back in. So something like this ASTS could be a good setup. Big volume. We don't really have much selling. Looking at a weekly chart here. Broke out to all-time highs, came back. So let's clean this up. I guess that'll take a minute to erase. But anyway, here's what I would look for. What's going on with this? Getting funky. All right, well, I guess TC 2000 is freezing up a little bit, but essentially you'd want it to curl up, start to go sideways like that. Then it might break out, then pull back. But as it starts, if it's going to go, it's going to go. This one might even go vertical. See, they're losing money. There's probably a lot of short interest in their other. I use Dilution Tracker a lot and trade ideas and other things, other tools to look at short interest. Float is a little higher. Market cap 6 billion. But this made a big move, right? And you don't see like really huge selling, and it hasn't come. I mean, it would really need to break like this level here to start going lower. It's still in an uptrend. Now, I don't know what it's going to do. Who knows? Nobody knows. HUD, nice cup action there. Look at all that big green volume. Look, a lot of buying. Okay, now it pulls back, some profit taking, more buying. Where's it going to go? I don't know, but what I would be looking for is vertical move and then some type of shooter bar, and then something that takes out this move here, this high, that candle. And then it might come down and start to clear up again and make another move. But you can see this company's making serious money. Big earnings, sales growth, triple digit. It's got institutional ownership, insiders own 11% of the company. Huge sales growth. Right, so this is probably an IBD one. Look at the monthly. This could be gearing up to take out these all-time highs. So that's it. That's pretty much what I look for in trading. I try to keep it simple. It's very easy to get distracted. It's also easy to fall into traps of trading. Knowing when to trade, when not to trade is a key. If it's a very hot market like now, it's a good time to be in the top names. If it's a slow market and there's not much going on, you're better off not even doing anything.